Going green and digital is being labeled as crucial to keep businesses competitive. And there's a warning. Inequality among workers could grow in certain sectors as the pandemic continues to send shockwaves across the global talent landscape. The latest Global Talent Competitiveness Index sees Singapore inching up to second place. It is now ahead of the United States and just behind Switzerland. It's also maintained its top ranking within Asia. And the report also emphasizes the importance of ensuring talent sustainability in the coming years. For more, we're joined by Academic Director of the Index, Professor Felipe Montero. Well, Prof, Singapore fared well in attracting talent, but retaining talent seems to be a challenge. Why is that?
So that's true. So first of all, congratulations to Singapore. I mean, fantastic performance this year in the ranking. So Singapore is a leader in attracting, but many times you don't manage to keep the talent there. Why is that? A lot has to do with the ability of kind of pension coverage, the ability in terms of how that once the talent is there, that you keep the talent staying in Singapore.
Well, Professor, large cities rank higher this year as they, have adapted better to COVID-related challenges and could attract talent. But what does it mean for small city-states like Singapore?
So I think what is important is maybe going beyond the state itself or the small city itself and see how do you think about megalopolis and how do you think about the whole ecosystem. So I think for Singapore, what it probably means is that it has to develop more partnerships, more collaboration, and thinking beyond the specific kind of center city and thinking about the areas around the city.
Well, Professor, your report also found that businesses that invest in going green and digital have an advantage over others. But how feasible is this for, say, smaller SMEs?
I think if you think about the small SMEs in isolation, it's not feasible. But I think as you just showed in the program before, the ability of working in collaboration. And if you put yourself in the shoes of the large corporations, a lot of them, they are eager to work with innovative startups, innovative SMEs. So I think the solution goes definitely through collaboration between the large corporates, which have a lot of resources and need to transform themselves, become more green, and the small SMEs, the small startups, many times they're more innovative, but have less resources.
And Professor, in the meantime, what should distressed sectors like tourism and construction do to cope with the scramble for talent as they recover?
So I think we need to separate what is the short-term pressure vis-a-vis the long-term trend. So as you said, there are some sectors which were hugely affected by the pandemic. And I think in that sense, right, they need support. A lot of countries around the world had huge recovery packages just to support the transition of those sectors. But my expectation is that this is a short-term pressure, right? Tourism will come back. And I think what's really in the long term is how do you make those sectors more digital? How do you take advantage of that crisis, right, to build back better? How do you, as you restart, those sectors invest more in digital technologies? How do they invest more in creating more sustainable solutions?
Yeah, and Professor, at the same time, tech is seeing a boom, the tech sector, and that's happening while other sectors are still suffering. So what can governments do to ease the inequality in talent demand across industries?
So what you just mentioned was a trend that precedes the pandemic. So we could see already in our earlier reports that you have some sectors that were really growing and some sectors were really strongly influenced by technology. You can think about AI and digital transformation, and other sectors were not. So what you need to do, you really need to have a major effort, right, in reskilling, in upskilling, so you don't have this divide between sectors which are really for the economy of the future vis-a-vis sectors which were left behind. So I think there'll be a lot of reskilling, upskilling necessary.
Well, thanks for that. Professor Felipe Montero, Academic Director of the Global Talent Competitiveness Index.